Tommy Rex, and you're listening to today's Boondoggle.
This is Mark Metcalf, and you are listening to today's Boondoggle with Bailey on Domain Cleveland Radio.
You are listening to today's Boondoggle with Bailey on Domain Cleveland Radio. Yes, Kato Kalin listens to this all the time.
Welcome to today's Boondoggle. Now, here's your host.
What's going on, everybody? It's Bill Bailey with today's Boondoggle, and talking with I'm thinking it might be the D and Big D, Dave McWane of the band Big D and the Kids Table. What's going on, man?
Not much. Just having a nice stormy day here in New England.
Oh yeah. We had it come through here in the Cleveland area yesterday. So
yeah,
must have made its way out there. Yeah. Well, usually when I have people on for the first time, I like to go like way back. So do you remember originally what you wanted to be when you grew up?
I always knew. Oh, originally I wanted to be a squirrel. That's what I was told. So my original plan was a squirrel. And then I noticed that they were the number one animal I always saw hit by cars. And so I pulled back on that dream, and it was being a band. I was like, I'm going to be in a band.
Nice. And then you recall what was like some of your earliest around the house, like what's some of the music that caught your ear first?
Well, my dad had strict, like he was a doo-wop guy, so it was all like doo-wop music. And my mom was like, definitely flower power, hippie time. But the first person I ever thought that was cool, like I was like, oh wait, you're cool, was Tom Petty. That was the first person I went, wait a minute, he's a little different than everybody else. So that was the first like artist I grabbed onto.
Nice. And then when was it that you kind of felt the calling to start performing and learning to play?
Well, I started off as a drummer. That was the whole plan. Like I was drums. And then after high school, I went to Berkeley and was playing drums, started this band, Big D and the Kids Table. I played drums, and we couldn't find a singer for so long that it started to get a little boring. And somebody said, why don't you just sing? And I was like, why me? There was no reason to be pointed out. And they were just like, I don't know, just think you could do a good job. And then I've been doing it for 30 years.
Nice. Good call.
Yeah.
And then what was like the music scene like in the area you grew up?
Well, I always do feel bad when you do those yesteryear stories of like, oh my God, you don't understand. It was so cool. So I apologize. But oh my God, you don't understand. It was so cool. Like everything in Boston was walking distance because certain clubs and record shops and restaurants were alive that like you could be in like, downtown, like down in center of Boston, walk to like the BU area where the Rat was, and then walk to Cambridge where the Middle East is. So it was a very walkable scene. And so, yeah, it was just like a lot of people hanging out, literally just going into the city to hang out all day to see what would happen. And if maybe you go into the show, maybe you don't, maybe you just hang out. It was great. It was definitely a potent scene.
And then when did Big D and the Kids Table form? When did that come together?
So that was like right when I went to college, so like 95. And I think we started the band like within the first month too, like the first second of like being in college. So I think 95. And then we played our first show, I think, in 96.
Gotcha. And then what inspired the name?
Oh, you're right. I do think we might have the weirdest name in history. So when I was leaving high school, I had a big buddy named Connor, and he was like the funny guy. And he was like, dude, I know you're going to go do music in Boston. So you got to promise me if you start a band, you got to call Big D in the kids table. And I was just kind of like, okay. And he was like, no, you got to promise me, like, real, you got to promise me you're going to do that. And I was like, yeah, okay, I will. And then when we started Big D, we didn't have a name. And I was like, hey, guys, I promised my friend from high school. And so I came through with the promise. But I didn't know it was going to, like, Big D didn't start to be a band that was like, we're going to go to LA and make it. It was more just like a bunch of guys don't want to play music together. We just want to play music together. So we needed a name, but it wasn't like, it wasn't like we were signing up for anything,
Gotcha. I got a friend out in Boston named, I know him as Jimmy D. And he's kind of a big guy, so I wasn't sure if maybe he was an inspiration for you guys out there.
That's the thing about me being Dave. Like, I'm not like big enough to be big, Big D, but it's some people call it, sometimes I'm called
it. And then when was like you kept that promise, and now like 30 years later, when was it that actually it became like a band for you guys?
I think, so the original goal for me in music in general was, because I was in scenes, I was in like the Boston hardcore scene, like, I went to all those shows. And so I knew what it was like to like see underground bands, but also see bands form. And then suddenly they're opening up for those bands, like your friends' bands. So I saw that like there was potential to like get the wheels going. And I was like, I've seen people do this. So as a drummer, my only goal was to just somehow be in a scene where somehow people kind of knew the band, and maybe we played for like 150 people. That was like the goal. And for Big D as well, to do more than that was an unrealistic idea. So just our whole goal was to just kind of be a band that people knew, and it wouldn't, and they're playing, like, that we were accepted and could play in front of like 150 people. So everything like after that has been pretty much extra for us.
Nice. Yeah.
And
then tell me about like the extra, and like, cause you mentioned LA, like when did the extra kind of start kicking in for you guys?
When we started feeling like a band, like I think the big joke in Big D, we keep saying is it's kind of like we're a band. We keep saying that. It's like, oh, we did this thing. Like, it's kind of like we're doing it. Like we keep talking that way. But I think when we got signed to Asian Man Records, because we knew Asian Man Records, that was that like triumphant, oh my God, somebody sees us as being as great as these people, because these people are great to us, And so being put on Asian Man Records, and that was a big deal. Being part of compilations was a big deal. Like, look, our name is near the Toasters and Mephistopheles and the Voodoo Glows. Look, we're in the list. I mean, that's the best first things,
Yeah, for sure. Now, I was going through your catalog back in 2007. Your single "Shining On," was that the one that kind of like put you guys on the map, or?
I would say this. Okay, so the answer is yes, but like if you're not connected and you're not rich, you have to climb yourself up. You have to climb up. So there's no like skipping steps. So even though, Shining On was like the single on Side One Dummy, and we had like a music video that was kind of worked, and it had momentum. I have to say the record before, LAX, got us kind of like, I think got us at least on the map for then later Shining On to do something. You know what I mean? Like, I think LAX helped Side One Dummy see us and go, oh, they have some, strength to them.
And what was the inspiration behind that song?
Oh, LAX. It's really funny because right around this time, like the emo scene is taking off. So LAX is like kind of like a breakup song, but it's so the opposite of how it goes through an email filter. It went through a fuck you filter. You know what I mean? And so I went to visit. It's pretty, it's a young story. So I went to go visit, a girlfriend in LA, and we went out to, I'll tell you the whole story. So we went out to this party, and it was my first my first introduction of like going to an LA party. You know what I mean? Like what am I? I'm like 20, right? And it was just so different than how things work in New England that it was just such a mind blow for me. You know what I mean? Like we had to go to a gate and there was a gatekeeper and he was like, who's in there? And I was with two girls and they were like, the boy can't go in, but the girls can. And I was just kind of like, what's going on? And then we drive up to this pool house and the pool house is bigger than any house I've ever seen. And above that is like this mansion. And so it was all this stuff I've never seen. And then I go to the party and everybody's rude. Everybody's a piece of crap. And I'm just kind of looking around and, you know, it's just kind of like my night's view of the situation. And so then the next day, taking the subway to work, I just did a one drop, which if people who write lyrics know, you don't always do a one drop, meaning like I just wrote the lyrics one down and then went to band practice after work that night and was like, I got a song. and it's great. It seemed to have really been a nice exhale for people because a lot of people connect with that song. And a lot of people ask me, what do people from LA think? And they like it the most. And I've been explained many, many times it's because they say they deal with it the most. You know what I mean?
Yeah, gotcha.
Anyway, yeah.
Well, that's the party's a nice segue to another single that I enjoyed going through your catalog, Noise Complaint.
Yeah.
Tell me about like the inspiration for that.
Well, you know, back to my dad showing me doo-wop, you know, I was always been a big literature. I just love the energy. I love that kind of like speed and color and just explosiveness of Little Richard stuff. So it's kind of like doing my version of like trying to be like him. And it's all the experiences are real. They were the experiences that we were having on tour and all the friends that we were mentioning. So it's just a very Boston thing to like talk. Again, I'm talking about a party, but this party was fun. You know what I mean? So I'm sticking to the correct, you know, script, but it's the opposite of, I guess, LAX would be. Yeah, it's a fun song. It's one of my favorite Big D songs. It's to play live and to listen to.
Well, another one I enjoyed was Opportunity.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, you want to tell me a little bit about the message in that song?
Opportunity is not hit, and then it would just kind of go like it kind of like you're out of reality or you're getting back in reality in that kind of cinematic weird way. Opportunity is kind of like taking a step back from all this stuff that's going on. And it's just kind of a calm, self-reflective moment, just looking at everything going on and talking about where you are in this moment. And it's just kind of self-reflecting in these times of constant dilemmas.
Gotcha.
Which often I would say happens when someone's alone, you know, maybe on a weekend and they're just decompressing for a second, and it's more their thoughts and it's more their own personal time, and that kind of accidentally went into that song, you know. Yeah.
No, it makes complete sense. I spend way too much time in my own head sometimes as well.
Yeah.
Not always a good thing.
Right.
But and speaking of that, Scatterbrain, your single Scatterbrain, I really enjoyed the video too, the cartoon.
Thanks.
Yeah, tell me a little bit about Scatterbrain.
Well, I mean, I would say I was the poster boy, and I know there must be many other out there like Charles Xavier's first crop of mutants that were the poster boys for ADD and dyslexia. Like we were the people they were trying stuff out on so that everybody can talk so freely about it now, which I say that in jest because it's so weird to me to hear. I feel it's good, but it's so like, ooh, everyone's saying these things out loud. I thought we were supposed to hide these things. You know, I make the joke that I'm so old school ADD that I was ADD before they added the H. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's kind of just talking about what it's like to be that person. You know, constantly people being like, why are you like this? You know, and, you know, like, and you don't think you're doing anything wrong. But, you know, I always like to say too with this, like, I definitely don't think ADD or ADHD. I always make the joke that whoever titled the people who have the gift obviously didn't have it, and that we should rename it ATC, attention to creativity, because that's all it is. There's absolutely no disorder going on. You know what I mean? It's just you have attention into creative things, and so
I like that. I gotta write that down because I have I mean I've got it mildly, but my fiance and my daughter have it. So I like when we take when you have that, like, that word disorder, you know, and you kind of get that diagnosis. Sometimes it's like you feel like that's your label, and then you start believing that about yourself. Like I'm retired military. I have PTSD, you know, but I don't let it define who I am and create, live off of that narrative that sometimes you can. So I like the change that you put there. It gives it takes the power back. Yeah, and
I think even PTSD, even though it has it's much different, of course, than ADD. It could have a little positive spin to it. The name, you know what I mean, like, or empowering, like you're saying. It could have a rename so people feel. You know what I mean? Who am I to say? But I know with ADD, ATC makes people feel much better than disorder.
Yeah, for sure. And then your single Right Now, tell me more about that one.
Well, it seems like everyone has their different ways to kind of keep themselves together these days. Everyone's searching different, and they're such creative new ways. It's not just eating right, it's not just exercising, but they say, like, everyone's forming little tribes now, and like little groups that help them get along. And the purpose, a lot of them, is to do better in your own life, get stronger, reach your goals. But the song is just kind of about, okay, but let's not wait anymore, and let's just say it's happening, like, right now. Like, just, we need to be like, we don't, of course everyone's going to keep working on themselves, but why don't we give ourselves a pat on the back that we've made some progress? Like, I do think everybody's doing way better these days than they're giving themselves credit for. I think these days are really terrible. And I think later people will look back and be like, those people were doing really well, but we're living it, so we don't feel that. So it's just this kind of call to action to be like, give yourself some credit. You know what I mean? Yeah. Like, it's that kind of like, stop waiting.
Yeah, no, I love that too. That's very empowering as well. I'm in recovery, and a lot of times I'll get myself caught up in like the shame and guilt of what I did in the past, or I'll get caught up in like, well, man, these guys are doing so well. I wish I was there, but I don't give myself enough credit for being where I am today. Like that saying, like, I'm thankful that I know I'm not where I want to be, but I'm glad that I'm not where I used to be, or whatever.
Yeah, that's awesome. Yep.
And then tell me about the title track for the album, Good Old American Saturday Night.
It's a little cheeky, and it's in the same jest. It's like, a lot of things roll off our shoulders these days, or roll off us, our shoulders these days, that, tragedy after tragedy kind of thing. And so things are getting normal, like, so it's kind of that snarky, like, it's just another fun Thanksgiving with Uncle Rick. You know what I mean? Like, that's kind of, you see what he's doing again, but like, so it's kind of one of those cheeky, your house or your car is burning down and you're throwing that Stepford Wives smile on, and you're like, this is what we got, Yeah.
And then you were working with on this album, you were working with producers Joe Gittleman, from the Bosstones, or worked with the Mighty Mighty Bosstones, and Matt Appleton.
Yeah.
Real Big Fish. How did that come together for you guys?
Well, Joe did our 2 records with side one, Strictly Rude and Fluent and Stroll. He produced those. And Matt produced our last record, Do Your Art. And for this one, we're all kind of friends, like, we are friends, not kind of. And we just had this thing of let's do the double whammy, let's do music together, like let's all get together and do a record. So it was a fun like hangout, you know what I mean? But one of the coolest things about it is Joe said he would do it, and then we were like, thanks, Joe. And then at one point, you have to talk about certain things, and I was like, Joe, like how much we have to pay you to produce the record, how do you want to do that? You have to do that. And he goes, you know what, I don't want anything, just I have some new music coming out. If I need to demo something or something like that, can you guys like demo it? So it was a trade in music, and we made like this trade in music which is the coolest thing I've ever kind of experienced being in the music scene. And it's not like Joe dialed it in, as they say. Like he was sleeping at the studio. He was there he was putting in a lot of work and wow. Just rallying and everything. And it was just for music. And we did demo and jam his stuff. And I love that. I mean, that's the stuff that, is important to me if I'm still doing music, is that you can see people care about the music. They're in love with it. They're addicted to it. And it's still like hanging out when you're 17. Do you want to hang out on Saturday? And it's like, yes,
The real good old American Saturday night.
Yeah. I didn't even, yeah.
Nice. And then you've been with Side One Dummy Records. How'd that relationship come together for you guys?
Oh, actually, it started in a really cool way. Yes, big ups to Side One. They definitely made like our dreams come true in the world. So it's amazing. It was great. So Big D kind of got on a couple Warped Tours, like one, and then like the next year we got on like 5 or a week or something. But we were like scraping by. You could do that on Warped Tour to kind of wrangle yourself on it. And if you go to Warped Tour, that everyone used to blast the fences with posters and put them all over it. There is a little saying of the style, the repetition kind of obey giant, if you will, style of promoting your band on Warped Tour was said that we got it going first. And that was, we would just plaster Warped Tour with, times when we're playing, passing out flyers. We were like, the definition of Warped Tour hustling your band. And Kevin Lyman, unbeknownst to us, saw us doing it and told Side One Dummy did the Warped Tour comps. You'd be crazy not to sign this band. This is the hardest working band I've ever seen. And so it was, it's nice to be noticed. So it was nice that someone noticed our hard work and we got the opportunity from that, Yeah,
that's amazing, man. Yeah, hustle definitely the hustle definitely pays off,
Yeah, nobody's going to work harder for you than you. Yeah,
exactly. Now, speaking of Warped Tour and just tours in general, you guys have a few coming up. Tell me about. When I was in the Navy, I was stationed down in Virginia Beach, so I don't think I ever hit this venue, but I saw on you got hot spots in Virginia Beach. You guys play. Have you played there before, or you play there quite often on tours? Or
I don't fully know exactly that spot, but I will say this about Virginia Beach. One, the first Big D fan ever to exist, Rich Stein, was from Virginia Beach. And we have a beloved club there, the Jewish Mother. Do you know the Jewish Mother then?
I think I do. I think I do recall that. I remember Bubba's Beach Club. I remember the Peabodys. I remember. Yeah. I think I do recall the Jewish Mother when I was stationed.
Jewish Mother and then there was the Jewish Mother 2. Yeah, and then there was the second one. But that, and then the surf competitions. I always sometimes I have the Virginia Beach surf competitions.
Okay. Yeah, this was back in my Navy days and active drinking, so some of it's still a blur.
Right.
But
you're right. Yeah, I never remember. Yeah, I know.
Yeah. But yeah, let's talk a little bit about the tour you guys got coming up.
Oh yeah. It's been a real long time since we've been on the road, and we just booked a whole bunch of stuff, and a whole bunch of stuff more is getting booked. We took like a little break, to do the record and stuff, and we're just geeking to get out. So we're booking everything, and we hope to get everywhere from all the states to, UK, EU, Australia, Japan, Southeast Asia, China, Hawaii, Mexico. We hope to do like the Iron Maiden world tour of Big D,
Nice. And then you guys are big with a Halloween show back home, the Nightmare Before Halloween. When did that start? That became like a kind of a traditional thing for you guys?
Yes, and I should know. And Steve Theo, the first person to promote to put on. It might have been, like 98, 99 was the first one. I hope I'm in the ballpark. But we've been doing it each year, and we were really lucky to get Halloween because like the Bosstones had Christmas, the Dropkicks had St. Patrick's Day, and we were like, we got to grab something before it's gone. So we got Halloween.
Nice. And what do you guys like? Try and do to make those special, other than just being on Halloween for the hometown crowd?
We've done things like we've had us and other bands play whole records of other bands, like Green Day's Dookie or Operation Ivy's Energy. But other than that, we kind of like try to decorate it as best as our budget can, and we spice it up in different ways. But we have yet to make it like a full, like, like, holy crap, Big D's got some production,
Gotcha. And then, like, what have you? Now you mentioned that you started, playing drums, and then we're kind of like, voluntold to sing. What have you learned along the way in that role?
I think it's been nuts. Even being able to tour and go everywhere, we didn't expect this. Like, everybody knows that a regular American can't like jet set around the world. Do you know what I mean? Like, that's an impossibility with, at all. So the fact that we get to do that and get all this culture is crazy. And as a singer, my whole direction of life has changed. I loved being in the back and being like the belly gunner or the tail gunner of the band, stare at my people. And it was so me, and the connection to the sticks and the playing rudiments at home and loving the drums. But then now you're up front and it's like all this energy and personableness, and it's the opposite of being a drummer, that it's been a mind F. It's been wild. And I just try not to take it too seriously. Like, I try not to take singing too seriously. I still try to keep a distance. I don't really consider myself like I'm a singer in a band. You know what I mean? I still kind of look at it as like, I'm doing this. I don't know. I'm not even sure. Like, I'm just playing music with my friends, but I don't really have any connection with being a singer in a band. You know what I mean? Like, and I think that's why often in the band, I'll work hard in other ways. Like, I'll set up the merch, and I still miss that gear, having gear and being, so I'm still a drummer being a singer, But it's wild. It's pretty wild.
And then now for, the album, I forget what was the release date.
Oh, I should know it by heart, but it was over June 18th or something, maybe. I don't know. Okay.
Probably
totally wrong.
And then the tour is kind of, in support of the album. Yeah.
We're going to be playing new songs, everything else. And what we've been doing that's really cool lately is, because we don't want people to miss out on songs, we've been just taking requests, and like we know our stuff. We're really fucking good, and so maybe we'll play like a verse or a chorus. You know what I mean? Like just a piece of the song, but like in 5 requests, get like 15 songs in there. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because you want people to at least hear something of it than nothing of it.
Yeah, exactly. And then for any fans out there that may be new to hear about you guys and want to like support and check it out and get updates, where would you send them?
Yeah, we have a great mailing list. We just redesigned BigDandTheKidsTable.com. Our guy Yosef did it, and it looks really nice. And so you can sign up for our email list. And I guess like that podcast thing, like wherever you find your podcast, like wherever you find your music, we should be there. Your mail orders are done by us because it's fun to do. So, we always try to be nice and throw as much stuff in there as possible. And yeah, we'll be around. We'll be around touring for, I guess, the next 2 years. And you should go to one of our shows because they're awesome.
Nice. Now, 30 years, you were saying, like, what goals do you guys still have for the band going forward?
That's kind of right. Like, we've kind of accomplished everything we sought out to do. Like, so I would say our goals is to go to Ireland for the first time. Somehow it's always been out of reach, but it's always been almost there. Like when you like bowl and it looks good and then it goes to the left and you're like, we thought we had it, and so we want to go there. We want to get back to Australia, back to Southeast Asia, Japan and China and Hawaii, and do more in Mexico. Those are like our goals. Yeah.
Nice. And then before we get ready to wrap up, I want to ask you a couple of questions I normally ask my guests that I have on here. You kind of mentioned some of the early influences growing up in music, but who are your top 3 artists you're listening to today?
Oh, today? All right. Well, DJ Crush, my beloved, like one of my top 3 always loved. So I am enjoying that quite a bit. Someone else. Oh, Milk Banana has, I believe, some new material out. But other than that, like, what have I been playing? I've been playing an absurd amount of Trojan records, the old, like the Ska box set or the Rocksteady box set, the Trojan records compilations. And then I would say finally, I've jumped back on 90s hip hop DOS effects because it's summer and they are so fun that, I've been listening to DOS effects from the 90s.
Nice. And then what class do you feel should be mandatory before graduating high school today?
What class? Oh, there should be a thing called like Survive America. You know what I mean? And like there should be like taxes and explaining about mortgages and explaining like how you can like have your money in investments and not actually like, what is it called when you have liabilities or not? And you can put money in, do all the things that the rich people know, you know what I mean? But at the same time, you would have like, this is how you help, fix cars. This is how you can like caulk a window. This is how you do plumbing. So just everything that they don't do, everything that you need to know that they're not teaching. Just
exactly.
Survive life.
Yeah. The number one answer I always get is like finances and taxes.
Yeah.
Like you said, it seems like it's by design. They'll teach you how to, rack up a credit card and get in debt, but, not how to build up wealth.
And even framing walls, once you can demo stuff and frame walls and put drywall up, then your house is just like, you can do anything, you know what I mean? So that stuff too, not having to always contract it out.
Yeah, exactly. And then who are 3 people who've inspired you and you can credit for making you the person you are today? Oh,
easily my mom. Like people sometimes always are like, oh, you're so this, you're so that, but it's really just me being my mom. You know what I mean? She's the OG Dave, So I would say my mom and my dad. But who got me here? I would say the people who've been like the nicest to me. It's definitely Joe Gittleman of the Bosstones. You know what I mean? Like just being nice when you didn't even have to be, that kind of stuff. And I guess my wife for putting up with me.
Nice. Good answer. Don't want to end up on that couch.
I have to say too, my cat Tsunami, because she'd be just a real big bitch if I didn't mention her.
Gotcha. And then are there any causes or organizations that you support and encourage others to check out?
I mean, geez, I hate to say it like this, but all of them and any of them that's going on right now. I mean, everywhere is on fire. It has to go towards where your heart is. If it's doing the reefs, if it's helping displaced cities, if it's humanitarian causes, go to humanitarian. If it's environmental, do environmental. I've worked with a lot of people, but at this point, everywhere is on fire. So I would just go where it's because I had this thing called the first step, which was it's so overwhelming these days to choose, you know what I mean? So it's trying to encourage people to get that anxiety down and be like, just try to figure out where you can help and do that frequently. Yourself up that you're not helping everything, you know what I mean? But just, try to find where it's right for you. I'm not doing anything currently. Yeah.
Gotcha.
Actually, we sold our van to Music Cares. We gave them a good deal.
Oh, nice. I know quite some people that have benefited from that organization.
Oh yeah,
so
yeah.
It's
Punk Rock
great.
Yeah,
great organization for sure. And then going back once again to childhood, you recall your favorite toy?
Oh yeah. When I got my first Transformer, everything in my life changed. I couldn't believe it. Like I just didn't know life could be that cool. It was like mind blowing.
Nice.
And I still respect them just as much as I did when I was little. I'm like, you guys are the coolest guys in the world.
Nice. Yeah, I'm still like a collector, even in my older age,
Yeah.
And then any message you have for our military members currently serving overseas?
Oh, wow. Well, of course, thank you. Thank you for putting the most major thing on the line, doing something for all of us. Stay safe out there. I hope that you're able to have contact with your loved ones as quickly and as often as you hope it to be. And I hope that you feel you are in the right place at the right time, doing the right thing.
Awesome. Dave, man, it was good talking with you. I'm glad we were able to make this happen. I look forward to hopefully a Cleveland date or somewhere adjacent for Big D in the future.
The Grog Shop.
Awesome.
Yeah, thanks. Great talking.
Yeah, you too. I know we're not as cool as Ireland, but yeah,
my dad's from Ohio. I believe in Ohio.
Awesome, man. Thanks again for your time.
Take care.
Bye.
All right! Listen up! Hold on to your seats. Grab your girls, grab your beers.
Hey everybody, this is Charlie from Anthrax, and you are listening to today's Boondoggle.
This is Mark Metcalf, and you are listening to today's Boondoggle with Bailey Domain Cleveland Radio.
You are listening to today's Boondoggle with Bailey on Domain Cleveland Radio. Yes, Kato Kalin listens to this all the time.
Welcome to today's Boondoggle. Now here's your host.
I am Monty Heath, so one Heath, and you are listening to today's Boondoggle.
Hey, what's up? It's John from Skillet, and you are listening to today's Boondoggle on Domain Cleveland Radio.
That's